Hello and welcome to 2026. This is Astro Shero, and this is your first forecast for January 2026. It's a new year already, and there is so much going on in the atmosphere that um, I'm only going to speak to you about the big thing that's happening, which is a stellium in Capricorn. Okay, so we will get started for all of the rising signs here. But I want to just express my gratitude for your participation, being a viewer, subscriber, whatever your preference is. Thank you so much. And I look forward to sharing more content with you as we move into the new year of 2026. Okay, so let's get started. So this month, Mercury enters Capricorn on the 1st. Okay, and it squares Neptune. Now, with this square with Neptune, you want to keep in mind that there is always going to be some confusion. There will probably be some misunderstandings as well. So just try to keep your cool, and this too shall pass. And on the 3rd, we have a wolf super full moon, which makes this full moon more intense because one is super, and two, it is, what is it? It's in the sign of Cancer. And with that being in the sign of Cancer at 13 degrees, your emotional self may be intense. And we also have the sun in Capricorn at 13 degrees as well. And the stellium that I was speaking of is going to be in the sign of Capricorn. So there's a lot happening in the sign of Capricorn. That's where your attention will be focused because we have this stellium, which is three or more planets in one area. Okay, so with this stellium, it includes Mercury, that's your communication, Venus, that's your harmony and balance, love, peace, the Sun, your ego, and Mars, action oriented, open to a favorable. Let's see, what do I have here? Okay, so this is a favorable time for, healthy self-esteem, making connections, receiving financial good news as well. You can also, you might, find you, more love, or a love interest could also happen during this time. So it can also spark ambition or boost your ambition, your creativity, and your relationship potential. So there is three asteroids also a part of the stellium, but because they're not planets, we often not talk about them. But this is about feminine energy. The number 13 is associated with the divine feminine Kundalini energy. So with this, these three asteroids, uh, they are feminine energy related to Virgo and Scorpio as well, because Scorpio is like the dragon or that snake energy, and that's the sign of the Kundalini energy as well. Okay, so we have the asteroid Juno is at 1 degree of Capricorn. And let's see, it represents the feminine spirit and the partnership, especially in relationships. Um, it's the energy of the ultimate relationships, like maybe your marriage partner. Okay, so that is active. And then we have Australia. Australia, I think that's the way you pronounce it. But she's at 22 degrees. That's a critical degree of Capricorn. Okay, that is actually a Capricorn degree. And this um, represents justice, innocence, purity, and forward vision. And we have Vesta, which is the Virgin. She's at 25 degrees of Capricorn, and she represents being of service, okay, or for a calling. Now, we also have Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, okay, and Cancer, Jupiter is retrograde in Cancer at this time before he moves into Leo sometime this summer, okay? But Jupiter has been trying to bring us the insight and intuition to come to know our innermost needs, okay? Internally and in relationships with others. It's asking that we do so with acceptance as well as reverence, okay? Jupiter has been trying to teach us not only to understand our needs, but to but to learn how to meet our needs without judgment. Okay, and then there's this new moon on the 18th, and that is going to be in the sign of, guess who? Capricorn. So we have this serious energy, and that's going to be at 18 degrees. No, it's 25 degrees, I believe, of Capricorn, or 28 degrees. Yeah, it's going to be on the 18th, and it's going to be at 28 degrees. That's another critical degree. So what I'm going to do, starting here in January, we're going to talk about this stellium, and I'm going to tell you where this stellium is with each rising sign. Okay, so we're going to start with Aries rising. And the stellium is in Capricorn, and this is going to be happening in your 10th house of career. Okay, your authority figures, your public reputation. So with all of this energy happening here, there's a lot of work that you may be doing to advance yourself and increase your public image here. With this stellium here, it's opening up opportunities for you to be seen, to be heard, and for you to take a leadership role. Now with this this full moon on the 3rd is in Cancer. So this Cancer energy of the full moon is in your 4th house of family. And that's who Cancer is. Cancer is about that mother principle, your family ties, your home, your children, that type of thing. So that's what you, Aries rising, is working with in with this stellium and this new moon happening. Okay, so with Taurus rising, the stellium is in your 9th house of beliefs, your higher education or higher learning, foreign travel, foreign communication, teaching, publishing, and I did say your belief systems as well, if I didn't. But this is in your 9th house. And this is what is lighting up for you for uh, January 2025. So this is a big deal having this stellium here. There's a lot of work that's being opened up to you for you to um, grow. Okay, the bottom line is about growth. Okay, and with it being Capricorn, it's a very serious energy, and it's the type of energy that you have to work towards. Oh, I hope you can hear me. You have to work towards gaining the knowledge that you need to succeed. And with Venus being here, there's a possibility that there is some communication around relationships with, someone from a foreign culture, or you may be communicating via the internet with someone that may spark your interest. And you also may have an opportunity for working overseas, or, having a job with a overseas connection, but you may work at home. And you have Cancer full moon in your third house of communication, your local neighborhood, your siblings, and friendships there, and short term travel. So, with this Cancer energy, home and family is on the top of your list. Okay, so we're going to move into Gemini rising. We have the stellium in your eighth house, and this is the house of death, transformation, banking, debts, okay, other people's money, shared resources, psychological issues, psychic abilities. Let's see. That that can cover it, It's an esoteric house, so it's hard to really define how things will work out in the eighth house, because it's like behind the veil type of energy. But with this stellium being here, you're definitely going to be addressing some relationship issues, and they're going to have a serious tone to it. You're going to be looking over your finances, because Capricorn likes to keep on top of things, and make sure that you are your checks and balances are making sense. Okay, so this is a time where you are, working on getting a handle on your shared finances, and how you spend, because we have Venus here as well, and this is, the goddess of luxury and having nice things. So there's also, a possibility that your relationship that you, if you're in one, could, grow stronger, or, take that next step in how how you relate to others, to your significant other, that is. I don't know why this is so hard for me to communicate, but I'm doing my best today. So we have, and with that, I apologize, with that Gemini rising, with the stellium being in your eighth house, we have that full moon in Cancer is in your second house. Okay, so your second house is about your finances, your self worth, and with this energy being a cardinal sign, you are taking responsibility for, how you feel about yourself, and how what your values are. Is it money that defines your self-worth, or is it family? Okay. So there we have it. We have Cancer, that family energy, that comfort zone, in your second house of self worth, values, your possessions, things of that nature. So, the full moon is about letting go. So there are some things that around your second house that maybe you need to be ready to release because they're no longer serving you. Now we have Leo rising, and that stellium is in your sixth house. And this is your sixth house of health, work, and your co workers, being of service, to others as well. Now, with this stellium in your sixth house, you're serious about the work that you do, and you may be looking at ways to make your work more meaningful, and you may also find, someone to love in the workplace, because we have Venus here. We also have Mercury, which, the communication is open and clear. And yes, the sun is here, and that's about the ego. I'm talking to you, Leo rising. Okay, so just be careful with your ego, because sometimes that can create some type of conflict. And then we have this new moon in Cancer, which is in your ninth, let's see, is it? No, your 12th house. Apologize for that. Yeah, we have this full moon in your 12th house. And it's, this Cancer energy. So a lot of things that you're working on that has to do with your subconscious is what you're working on with this full moon being in your 12th house. So there is some subconscious things that you may not be aware of, but will come out because the full moon is going to, it shines a light on, what's hidden. So something about your family heritage, your ancestry, may show up for you so that you can, release yourself from any entanglements or things that you thought you were bound to but wasn't yours to carry in the first place. Okay, so let's see. We have Virgo rising. We have the stellium is in your fifth house of fun, joy, romantic possibilities, your creativity, children, and your hobbies are in this house as well. However, with Capricorn, it's going to take a bit of a serious tone to it. So it's kind of hard when you're dealing with this Capricorn energy in a fun house, because Capricorn is very serious, structured, and doesn't just have fun for the sake of having fun. It's all about work and no play, that kind of energy with Capricorn. in the fifth house. But, the communication is going to be the same. There's some ego energy at play because the sun is going to be here. And Venus as well, she could lighten things up a bit. But yeah, her tone is going to be, a little different with Capricorn here because it's hard to get Capricorn out of its, it's like an earth energy. So it's hard to get Capricorn going when it comes to having fun. Okay? And this full moon is in your 11th house of large groups and luck, your memberships, and even your, co-worker friendships is where this full moon in Cancer is happening. And you're a nurturer, so you want to nurture your relationships there with your friends, Virgo rising. And hey, you don't have to be that nurturer, okay? We know that you like putting things in boxes and perfecting things. However, you may want to release what no longer serves you in the 11th house when it comes to you with this Cancer full moon there. It's a super full moon, so things are going to be more intense than you would normally experience. But just know that, you know, letting go of things that no longer serve you is in your best interest. Because with Virgo rising, you have a tendency to, want to do things yourself and control the situation. So, that being said, you know what to do. All right. So, we have Libra rising, and the stellium is in your fourth house. And this is the house of home where Cancer lives, right? Yeah, that's where Cancer lives, is in the fourth house of family, of nurturing, the mother principle, the real estate, your your husband and your parents are all here in this fourth house. And this is where this stellium is. And with Capricorn being the the director of the stellium, it could be good for your real estate plans, planning, organizing, structuring, those kinds of things. The communication still may have some dry tones to it because Capricorn dries things out, whereas the fourth house is more of a nurturing, watering, type of house, a water house. And Capricorn, it's hard for him to show up, or melt. So it holds on to those harsh edges that it has. So that could create some tension there with this stellium. However, we still have Venus, the goddess of love, who wants to show love, but her love may be toned down a bit, because, Capricorn is over, everything, kind of putting a gray cloud on things. But that too shall pass. And you have the full moon is happening in your 10th house of career, your public image, your authority figures, and your subordinates as well. So with this full moon being in Cancer, you don't have to try and take charge of everything, okay? That's what this cardinal energy is about, leadership. The 10th house is also about leadership as well. However, you can let someone else take the reins for a bit while you let go of things that no longer serves you about how you present yourself in your workplace or in your career space. And that generally has to do with nurturing and, wanting to be the mother to all, that you are in contact with in your workplace, or that you supervise, or your colleagues. Okay, so we're going to move on to Scorpio rising, and the stellium is in your third house of local short trips, your communication space, your community, your friends, and early education, and your siblings as well. Okay, so this stellium is in Capricorn again, and this is happening in your third house of communication. You may be looking at ways to educate yourself. So you may be trying to, do a trade or find a new avenue that is going to be more beneficial to you down the road. And let's see, it has Mars in here, so Mars is an initiating energy that is going to, move forward, so you don't have any stops in your way, because Capricorn wants that long term he wants that long term structured way of doing things to come out on the other side with something to benefit from. Okay, and let's see. Now we have the Cancer full moon in your ninth house, and that is the home of Jupiter. Jupiter is also in the sign of Cancer as well, but it's moving retrograde. It's also exalted in Cancer, which makes it a good thing, so that even in retrograde, it's still helping. This is the great benefit planet, okay, and it's sitting in its own home territory. So again, with it being in the ninth house, this full moon, super full moon, a lot of intensity is there, and this is happening around your belief system. Maybe your religious values are changing, or you may be open to new ways of seeing life, okay, and what it really means. So, with that being said, Scorpio rising, with this full moon in Cancer in your ninth house, you also want to let go of, it has something to do with your father. Whatever he installed in your life, this is something that you may need to address and let go of. So what am I supposed to do here? Oh, I am on. Okay, I didn't notice that. I'm back. Okay, Sagittarius rising. This is where we are. I that happens sometimes. It doesn't happen all the time where the where it stops on me. But okay, I have a different format and maybe that's what's going on. So I had to stop it, and I hope once I get to the end that everything is in place so that I don't have to go back and do this again. Okay, but it looks like we're on. I don't know how much pause I have in between, but I'll look at that once I get to the editing part. Okay, so now we're into Sagittarius rising, and the stellium is in your second house of self worth, your money, your possessions, and the things that you value. Okay, so this has a lot of intention on how you are processing information in this second house. I mean, you're a fire sign. You might need to be careful with speculating, those games of speculations, and be more cautious of how you spend your money. Because right at this time with the stellium, we have that full moon, a time of release, which is in Cancer. And this is happening in your eighth house. And we also have retrograde Jupiter there. So wherever Jupiter is, it's going to expand things, okay? And that eighth house has to do with, shared finances and other people's money, like your parents' investments and things of that nature. So with it being in your second house, the stellium, it wants you to take your time and, take things step by step. Make sure that you are doing the big planning issues, not issues, but big planning ideas. Take things steps at a time, because this is about long term longevity when it comes to Capricorn. And, your money, you want your money to grow, so you have to choose wise investments as well. Okay? And you also have to remember that, you're not, this is if this applies to you, your family money or relationship money that is tied to you, Capricorn rising, that you have other people to consider as well. So keep that in mind. Now, Capricorn rising, the stellium is in the first house, and this is about yourself, how other people view you and how you see yourself, how you look, okay? This is about your physical body. And, you want to take care of yourself, because your self image is important to you, and you value how other people see you. Okay? So this also can affect your 10th house as well, because it's a public, it's like a public house where, you're being viewed by the public as well. So with this stellium, it is really asking you to stay focused and continue to make sound decisions about how you present yourself to the world, and how you has something to do with your finances as well, because we have the second house so close to the first. Um, and we also have Venus, and this is about love, self love as well. So this is all about you. How are you looking? Okay, how are you looking? And if you're not looking as well as you should, or you think you should, then you know, you have to work on those areas. Okay, and then we have the full moon is in your seventh house of relationship. The first house is about self. The seventh house is about others. Okay, so this is a super full moon. It's intense and it's in the sign of Cancer, and it also has Jupiter attached to it, which is going to expand things. So this may be a time where you have to let go of how hold on to relationships that may not be serving you at this time. Or it might just be where you need to address how you interact in relationships. You may be over motherly, over hovering, or, you know, over nurturer, because that's Cancer. And then, of course, we have Jupiter here and we have the super wolf moon happening. So, this is a big deal. The light is illuminated on this house so that you can see what you need to let go of and how you need to, readjust, your way of being connected to another person. Okay, so we're going to move into Aquarius rising. The stellium is happening in your 12th house, and this is about things that are hidden. Okay, there's lots of work that can be done with your unconscious mind at this time, because the stellium is really there to dig up things that you need to let go of. And in the sign of Capricorn, you may have issues with your father, or he may not have been available intellectually, or he may not have been present at all. Okay, that could be part of the storyline for you with this stellium in your 12th house. There could also be some privacy about relationships that you haven't told anyone as yet. So it might be some secretive stuff going on there. However, Mars is there and wants to take the action that is needed to bring things to the surface so that it can be out in the light, and that way you know how to handle, because for most of us, if we see it and we don't like it, or if it hasn't been working, we know we can let go of it. But a lot of times when we don't see it and don't know that it's there, there's nothing that we can do about it. But with all of this energy working in your favor, is like a clearing for you to it's like a karmic cycle that is ended, and the clearing is happening so that, your frequency is changed. Okay, and you can step into a whole new paradigm situation. That's beautiful. Okay, and with the full moon in Cancer being in your sixth house of work, health, and being of service, and your coworkers and superiors. Now, for those of you who don't work, you may be focused on your, making sure that your health is intact. You doing your, having that daily routine that's going to keep your momentum up high. And for those of you who are working, again, when we have Cancer in your workplace, you want to be the motherly type and being the nurturer, and sometimes you don't have any boundaries between you and your subordinates and even co-workers. So that is something this that's being illuminated for you with the full moon being in your sixth house of health and daily routine in your workplace. Okay, so we're going to move right into Pisces, and this is Pisces rising. The stellium is in your 11th house, and this is the house of membership, luck, large organizations that you may be attached to, and even your friends that from work, and your other friends from your community as well. And I did say luck. So here we have this energy with, I don't know, Pisces energy. But this stellium here is, have you, rethinking or relooking at, how are these relationships beneficial, okay? Because we have Capricorn. Capricorn wants stability, wants structure, okay? And with Pisces rising, sometimes, you don't have any boundaries. So Capricorn is here, wanting to set boundaries, wanting to let go of what no longer serves you, okay? Because it is the time around this full moon in Cancer, which is going to be in your fifth house of fun, joy, hobbies, and the likes. But again, this is a clearing. So with Pisces, I mean not Pisces, but Pisces rising with Capricorn in your 11th house, he's here clearing out or weeding out things that you've just had tagging along, but it wasn't serving you at all. So here he is fisting to, create some structure and making sure that things that are serving you are what it is that you will have in this 11th house going forward. Okay? And again, with the full moon in Cancer and Jupiter being in your fifth house, we have where there's, if there's children involved, Cancer is really, there wanting to be a nurturer for that. And in your real romantic space, you might be more intense in your romance with, your connections that you have. And you may have to address your intensity, and how you nurture. So this is an area where, if it might be too much and you may need to let go of things that no longer serve you, because a lot of times change do happen in these romantic situations where if we are going to grow, we're going to have to recognize what it is that we need to change within ourselves in order to be a better companion. Okay, so I am a little at a tiff with my my camera stopping on me in before I started Sagittarius rising. So now I'm gonna have to go back in with editing and make sure that everything, follows the script. And thank you so much for being a part of this channel, and have a great 2026. And until next time, bye for now.